Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric. Today, kind of a hodgepodge of a few things. Of throwaways, where is the mom and pops going, and the pros and cons to shopping local versus online. Alright, let's start with mom and pops and shopping online. Why not, right? Cheaper. Why not? Well, the thing is that China is not supporting your community. China could care less about you as an individual. China could care less about us in the U.S. See, we're an adversary. As long as you're giving them your money, they're okay with it. And they keep getting bigger and stronger, more wealth. As we here in the United States are on a downhill slide. Very little manufacturing takes place in the U.S. anymore. You can blame big business, and you can blame the government for headed that direction. I remember when it all first started. But you can also blame the consumer, which is us, because we dictate, not the businesses, not China. We on a personal level dictate where we're going to spend our money. Where do our feet take us? Your mom and pops are giving back to the community. They're usually very involved, and they understand that if they take care of the community will take care of them. And I know it's happening to a number of different repair shops, whether you're in automotive or you're in a small engine or marine, or it's all hitting the same way. And that is, a lot of times, for what it would cost to fix something, you can buy it brand new. So now you end up with two issues. Where does all these throwouts go? Are they being recycled? The consumer is the one that, makes everything happen. If you, the consumer, are not buying, then that business is going to change to what your needs are. I'm not saying that we should be inclusive in the U.S., but I think we need to pull back some of our stuff. Biggest thing for me is pharmaceuticals. For folks that are getting drugs in this country, should not rely on another country to make their medication. Right? Seems reasonable, but it's not happening. We need to close our borders down. It's common sense. We have too many drugs coming across the southern border, and now the northern border. And who's backing it all? China. Mexico is just, cartels are just facilitating the cheap fentanyl that China is shipping to them to get into the U.S. Again, who can you blame for that? Well, my first pointing finger is going to be at the drug abuser. If they weren't using drugs, then there would not be a market. So if there's no market, then there's no money to be made, and the cartels in China are not going to be interested in doing it. But why is it still happening? What is this, the sense of having open borders? You realize that we're the only country that has so-called open borders? And I'm not against people coming to the U.S. I'm not against people, becoming citizens. But honestly, you got to do it the right way. The right way takes time. Yes, it does. And sometimes there's a backlog of 4, 5, 7 years to get in the way you should. And some people that really should have been here aren't here. But the people that shouldn't be here are here. When it came to Iraq and Afghanistan, okay, our brave men and women were fighting for democracy. They fight to make us safe. While there, they had a bunch of people from those countries risk everything to become interpreters and to help them with the local communities. There was a deal made that any of these interpreters at the end of the war could become U.S. citizens and have their families moved to the U.S. if they felt like they were in danger. Did that happen? No. And a lot of them were killed. A lot of their family members were killed because they helped the U.S. But yet, we allow anybody and everybody to cross our southern borders and our northern borders. And when I say northern border, I'm saying Canada. Canada is our best neighbor. But Canada is also helping facilitate getting people into their country and then into ours. So it doesn't matter, as far as I'm concerned, whether you believe the war was just or not. But I think we kind of dumped on the interpreters and did a 180. And whether you believe in open borders or not, I think we can all agree on some things. And that is, people are dying every day from fentanyl overdoses. Cartels are mixing drugs, fentanyl, with lesser drugs. They need you as a consumer, a drug addict. The problem is they're killing people. You hear about them where a young girl had never used drugs in her life and somebody slipped her one and she died from it. I'm just tired of hearing this stuff. And when I look at the next generation, their work ethics has declined. They want to work less. If they work at all, they want to be at home in their pajamas, Zoom meetings and stuff. A lot of them aren't working. When we hit COVID, everything was shut down. And a lot of those workers never came back online. But I guess what I'm getting at is, where is our society? Where are we headed down the road? If the next generation doesn't have the work ethics that we have, of doing the best that you can and getting out there, if you don't have a job, make it your job to get a job. And I don't know about your area, but my area, there's help wanted signs everywhere. And the last I knew, McDonald's was even paying $15, $16 an hour. But I hear, well, I'm above that. No, you're not. You take that job until you can find a better one. That's how we all did it. We started out in entry-level jobs and worked our way up. Your workers are nomads now. The ones that are working will work for one company for a year, possibly two, and then go to this other company, and then to this other company. Whereas back when I was younger, if you could get locked into a business, a company that took care of you, you were there until retirement. So that brings us back to where are we at with the disposable generation. And that is, I keep hearing it's so much cheaper just to buy new than it is to fix the old. So the quality's not there. Now I understand when it comes to battery operated stuff, I use stuff too. You know, I've shown you my impacts and my drills and all that. And for people that, you know, typically use a weed eater for 10 minutes a week and then they put it away for the winter, most of those guys were doing electric anyways, and now they've gone to a battery operated because it's more convenient because they can go around the house without pulling out extension cords. I get it. But where are we headed? I mean, we need to come back together as a community instead of being divided. Find common ground. That's how things work. Agree to disagree on whatever's going on. And then find results that work to change what's taking place. I'll be the first one to admit I don't know all the answers. For me, it doesn't matter who you voted for in the last two elections for president or who you're going to vote for this time. What matters to me is, are we on the same page as far as China with drugs? Are we on the same page as pharmaceuticals should be manufactured here in the U.S.? And shouldn't we get the same rate for our our medications that other countries get? Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is other countries are paying pennies on the dollar. And they're saying, well, we have research and development. Well, why should I pay for research and development if somebody in another country isn't? It's okay to make money. It's not okay to rape people. And when people can't afford their insulin, the stuff that keeps them alive, I got problems with that. Seniors, I got problems with that, where they can't afford their medication. They're trying to decide whether to get their medication or groceries. Yeah, that's where we're headed. What can we do to motivate young people into getting off their phones and doing physical labor and enjoying what God gave us on this earth? So if you have anything in the comments you'd like to post, maybe you think I'm wrong. Maybe you have a different idea of how to fix things. Maybe you're part of the next generation that doesn't agree with me. You may be outside the norm. You may be a hardworking individual trying to do the best that you can. But the majority of your fellow people in that age category are not. I mean, when I was 18, I moved out of the house. 19, I was married. And 19, I had my first child, a beautiful boy. You're seeing 30 and 40-year-olds that don't have kids, aren't committed to a relationship, go from one to the next to the next. It's going to require your generation to make the necessary changes to make it better for all of us. So on that note, you guys have a great day.